One Central Georgia church is celebrating a history that goes back over 2 centuries. Poplar Springs North Baptist Church in Dublin held its first service back in 1807, 5 years before the city was even founded. 13 WMAZ's Connor Hendricks was out in Dublin today for the homecoming service.
Poplar Springs North Baptist Church in Dublin is celebrating 215 years. That's older than Lawrence County itself. Church leaders say that though the pandemic impacted attendance levels, they're determined to make it to the next 215. James Hughes has been the youth pastor for 19 years.
For the most part, if you get them pointed in the right direction, they'll take off and then you just guide them.
Hughes says the pandemic has caused attendance to fluctuate and it hasn't quite returned to what it was before COVID-19.
There's some strong roots here, so I'm expecting it to keep on going.
Hughes credits the success of the church to the congregation.
From one generation to another generation, it's just told about the gospel and told about the church and just kept coming and kept, we still got families here that have 3 or 4 generations that still come to this church.
He says the church caters to people who live in rural Lawrence County, which makes it harder to keep young people coming back, but they're working to pass the torch to the next generation.
And that's how you're going to keep on going for the next 215 years, is that you got to reach the next generation, because eventually, I hate to say it, if you don't, you'll die out.
In Dublin, Connor Hendricks, 13 WMAZ News.
And after the church held a service in the historic chapel, the congregation made their way over to the fellowship hall for a good old Southern lunch, fried chicken, mac and cheese, and more. It sure has been hot and